Yeah, no shit. Jesus, wouldn't take a car down there if you paid me. I'm actually making this video about cycling on roads and being confident cycling on roads. To get to the roads, I need to cycle along a disused railway, which is now sort of a bridle path. But man, it's the dogs. That's what I find the most dangerous about cycling. I actually hit a dog on my bike a couple of years ago. I was cycling along the cycle path and there was a footpath next to it. They were both tarmac, side by side, and this dog was just running around. It ran off literally in the opposite direction to me. And then before I knew it, it had turned around, ran straight across my path. I just didn't have time to do anything. So crashed into that. Dog was fine, I was not. Anyway, ever since, I think I had a healthy respect for dogs on the loose before, but there are so many now. There are so many since lockdown, I think. They just run around and they're not always smart enough to really respond to their owners. So yeah, I find them a lot more erratic. These cars are generally going in one direction. Dogs can go anywhere and turn on at tuppence. Today I'm going to talk about being confident on the bike, on the road specifically. And I'm going to talk about a few things, like some bit of road safety, like how to be a safe cyclist, because some of it's common sense, some of it isn't so much. And then also just how to be like confident, things you can do to feel a bit more confident on the bike. So I'm filming this on the lanes because lanes can be quite dangerous themselves, but filming it in a busy trafficked area like city, it's probably aptly not very safe. Say I'm filming from the lanes. I'm actually the first 8 kilometres. It's actually still on this. It's called the Ray Valley Trail, an old disused railway line. So I'm back on it after being on the lanes for a little bit. Anyway, it's nice and quiet around here, so it's easier to talk without, you know, having to be watching out for cars. So the first thing I want to say is, in general, just be safe and be visible. It wasn't until I learned how to drive I realised how invisible cyclists can be on the road, but also how visible they can be. So next time you're driving or you're a passenger or whatever, just sort of have a look for cyclists and see what kind of things they're doing that make them visible or invisible, and just bear that in mind. One thing that took me by surprise, and that I do forget sometimes still, is even when you're cycling in bright sunshine, if you go into some trees, like under cover, if the road is suddenly in shade, your eyes can't adjust very quickly. So if you're not lit up on the bike, if you don't have your bike lights on, even though it's like the middle of the day in summer, glorious sunshine, if you suddenly go into shadow, car drivers cannot see you because your eyes need to adjust. Play it safe, like be lit as much as possible. Just, you know, make it easy. Make it as easy as possible for someone to see you. I'm not saying you have to wear high vis everywhere. I don't know any. But, you know, try and be visible. Second thing is be prepared and be aware. It's definitely better to assume that people haven't seen you, they will pull out on you, that they haven't seen you at a roundabout, they haven't seen you turning, all this kind of stuff. Like, just be prepared for that, as you would when you're driving. Like maybe even driving in a foreign country or something, where you're like unsure what's going on. Like basically think like that. Expect people to drive badly around you, and if you expect that, you'll be much more prepared when it does inevitably happen. And it will. I get pulled out on all the time. I think people just haven't seen me, or they think I'm going slower than I am, and so they don't want to be stuck behind a cyclist. You know, they pull out on me. Sometimes it's pretty bad. People have also overtaken me and then immediately turned left, and I'm in the UK, so we're on the left anyway. So they're cutting me up. That's pretty bad, pretty dangerous. I've been in a situation where I've been able to like literally slap the side of a car before. But just be, like, expect that. If you expect that, you're a lot safer. And you can react a hell of a lot faster than if you're daydreaming and assume that everybody is gonna drive absolutely perfectly around you. If you're really nervous about cycling on the road because you haven't done that much cycling before, don't beat yourself up. Start off gently. Start off really getting better at your bike handling skills. So go on traffic-free roads, cycle paths, you know, byways like this. You can find these places, do that. Like, just practice being on the bike, because the more, you know, the stronger you are on the bike, the better you can handle yourself, the better you can accelerate when you need to, and the more experienced you are on the bike, the more you can, you know, you're primed to brake faster, you're primed to spot what's around you, potholes in the road, all that kind of thing. Don't immediately just jump into a busy road and, you know, force yourself to do something you're not comfortable with. Find out where the quiet roads are, the lanes, go for bike rides there, go for bike rides on cycle paths, get used to handling the bike, get a bit stronger, get more confident without any traffic, and then you'll be much more confident when you actually meet the traffic. Take up space, but don't be a dick. You don't want to be cycling in the gutter for many reasons. There are potholes, drains, broken glass, random road dirt, and it's dangerous. But you also obviously don't want to be cycling on the white line in the middle. You want to be cycling, you know, where you're taking up space, cars can see you and you're forcing them to overtake you on the other side of the road as they would a car, but also you're not putting yourself in a dangerous position. When you think it's safe that a car will be able to pass you, then you can move over slightly, but in general you want to be asserting your position on the road. Most countries, I imagine, will have guidance on this. So in Britain, check out the highway code, it's just been updated. Be clearer on this, but it's useful to know anyway, because if you're a driver or a cyclist, probably both, 85% of cyclists are also drivers, of adult cyclists I should say, thankfully. You know, these things are good to know. Establish your position and hold it, but also, you know, let cars pass when it's safe to do so, and you think that they might need some more space on your side. Don't ride two abreast all the time if there are cars behind you. Riding two abreast or three abreast, yes, you want them to overtake you on the other side of the road, for sure, but sometimes, you know, they can't. Maybe the road isn't even that wide, so don't be a dick. I'm on like a byway that I've never been on before. I just had to cycle along a bit of 60-mile-an-hour road, which had a section of it that isn't wide enough for two cars. Sadly, I couldn't film it because it's really bendy and fast. Oh god, I can't cycle this with one hand. Great option to walk and talk though. Another thing that can affect people's confidence on the bike, aside from like cars, is how they look. Now, look at me. Look. I'm wearing my running shoes for a start. I'm wearing a Rafford top that I got second hand from eBay for 20 quid. Le Col bib shorts, which I got from eBay for 20 quid. So yeah, I mean, I'm dressed like a pro, let's face it. But at the end of the day, I'm just a slightly sweaty woman wearing lycra in an unflattering helmet. There's nothing you can do about it. You want to wear clothes apt for your ride. For road cycling, it's often lycra. It's just comfortable. If it fits well, you don't even really notice you're wearing it. Just don't think about it, frankly. That's what I do. Like, if you think about how good you look riding, trust me, you'd never get on a bike. It's like how good people look in a wetsuit. You'd never get in the water. Some things just aren't very flattering for anybody. So don't worry about it. Like, you're doing this for yourself, not for anyone else. As my mother would say, it's not a fashion show. When you're on a road and you're indicating to turn, do it early, especially if you're turning across the road. So in the UK, it's if you're turning right, then you need to cross, obviously, your lane and the opposite lane. And you want to stop people from even considering that they could overtake you. You first need to obviously look behind you, make sure nobody's, you know, going to overtake you. And then you need to indicate and move out. And this is really important to do this early. You don't want to surprise the car behind you ever. You never want to surprise anybody. As a cyclist, frankly, or a car driver, don't surprise people. Indicate clearly, always look behind you. The amount of cyclists I see, or pedestrians actually kind of car drivers too sometimes, the amount of people I see who don't, they just indicate and then they move out. Are you insane? Like, are you actually insane? You will die. Always look behind you, then indicate. Just as you would in a car, you check your mirrors, then you indicate. It's the same on a bike. You know this, I know this. We all need to make sure that we do this, because those are the situations where accidents happen. So indicate clearly, early, then move out and take up that space, you know? Like, really make sure that you're not just indicating, you're actually holding your space so that cars cannot overtake you, and they really know that. Oh my god, this hill never ends. And finally, just go out there and do it. That's the most important thing. Stitch it into your everyday life. Cycle to the local shop, to the local park, do small journeys, get used to how traffic moves around you. You know, even if you're in a city or something, pull over when you want to. It's not a problem. Be safe, be visible, and confidence will come. The more you cycle, the better a cyclist you'll be. The more confident you'll be in your bike handling skills, the stronger you'll be, the more aware you'll be. So, as with anything, it's really just a case of doing it. Oh my lord. I don't know if you can see how steep this is. It's so steep. When I get home, I'm going to look at what the gradient is, because it's ridiculous. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was useful. If you liked it, please consider subscribing or sharing it with someone, because it really helps. See ya!